we bumped into you, Fury against Dillian White, and Simon was saying, "There's Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde's here. Anthony Yarde's here." And you remember you turned round and Simon was saying, "Anthony, I'm a big fan of yours." And I remember distinctly you looking at Simon and saying,
"Go away.
Sorry, who are you?"
No.
It was a moment I'll never forget. No, I take that back. Anthony, this man is a fan. So am I. How have you been?
I've been good, man. Thank you.
Yeah, terrific. Well, great. But of course, the big question is what's been happening, because you last fought in December when you beat Lyndon Arthur with a 4th round knockout, and that was a grudge rematch.
Yeah.
But you took care of it on the night. Since then, what's been happening?
I've just been training. I had a holiday. I went to Jamaica with my family, and then recently I went to New York to see the Beterbiev against Joe Smith Jr. Because I heard that I was going to be next in line for that fight. So I just went to do some scouting, they call it.
So where are we with that right now? So because we thought it was going to be Beterbiev next. Now we're hearing Beterbiev could be going in for a unification bout with Bivol. Where does that leave you exactly?
From what I've been told, the two promoters, so the person that promotes me, Frank Warren, and the person that promotes Beterbiev, they're going to come to an agreement that Beterbiev comes to London to fight me. That's what's been said.
That's next.
That's next. And it's meant to be around October time. So I'm just looking forward to that.
Oh, that's good. So that is news this lunchtime. If you're telling us that's going to happen, it's probably more than likely going to happen. You're talking about October in London when he comes here to fight you.
Yes, so that's what Bob Arum promotes. But I don't know if it's Beterbiev or Beterbiev.
Beterbiev that works because we've been saying it all day, so let's go with Beterbiev.
It's whatever way it comes out, Anthony.
So either way, that's the two promoters. They've agreed on it, and it's been put out there by both promoters as well. If Beterbiev won that fight, he was going to come London to fight me in October.
Whatever the pronunciation of it is a great fight.
Yes.
Because Anthony's back in Nick now. He'll put the first experience of the Lyndon Arthur fight down to an experience, but the second performance was an outstanding performance.
It was a statement performance.
It's a statement performance. This is what got him the fight with Kovalov. This is what got him the opportunity, which was very early in his career in terms of going up to that level, and probably learnt a lot from it.
Yes.
But this is the same sort of thing now, because Beterbiev is in a situation where he's just demolished Joe Smith, and this is a hard yard for you. When you look at it and you look at the division, what do you make of these fighters, Joe Smith, Beterbiev? You obviously got Dimitri Bivol and the lesson that he handed to Canelo Alvarez, which very few people can sound. You're in no easy division. You've got Josh Boatzy coming behind you and breathing down your neck.
Yeah.
But you're now in a situation where you are entitled to shot again, I think. How do you look at it now?
I just see the division as exciting.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me excited and motivates me to keep training and to be in these big fights. There's nothing worse for me, in my opinion, to be a boxer and be in a boring division. Because you can be good, but then there's no exciting fights. No one's interested. Like, you might be a name or whatever, but there's nobody talking about these fights. I love when I hear my name and people are like, I want you to fight this person. I want you to fight this person. Are you going to fight this person?
But after the performance against Lyndon Arthur, you're re-establishing people's minds, because it was disappointing the first fight, and you know it was, right?
Yes.
So you came back, but you didn't just deal with it.
Yeah.
You took care of business from the first bell, didn't you? I mean,
Yeah,
you came out like a man possessed and demolished him, didn't you?
You started that fight actually probably as the underdog going in because of the first fight. And I know the first fight was behind closed doors and it's difficult. That messes you up. It's difficult to motivate. You need the crowds, etc. But you did start that, but you went out there, stamped your authority early on and just bashed him up in 4 rounds and just re-established yourself on that world scene. If this Beterbiev fight doesn't come off, we've got other fighters in this country that are on that world scene. Could we see one of those? Like your Craig Richards, your Callum Johnsons, Joshua Boatzys. Is that a possibility?
For me, it's world titles.
Just world titles.
It's even if the fight is a build-up fight or whatever. For me, it just has to make sense. When you speak to, you can say advisors or anything like that. I've always, from the beginning, I've said I don't care who I fight. I'll fight anybody because. However you go up the ranks, you're going to have to fight these people anyway. But then there's people in the background that they put business plans in place, which makes sense. When you watch careers of the Mike Tysons, Floyd Mayweathers and all these kind of people, it was a business plan that was put in place. There's always been this thing, Anthony Yarde, world champion. My route's always been hard. My first world title fight against Kovalev in Russia. It looks like my second fight's going to be against another Russian in hopefully in London. And there's always a procedure to get to that world title. For me, when it got put to me to fight Boatzy, before I've got a unification bout. To me, that makes no sense.
Sure.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
From you, there is a danger for you that they take the routes of unifying the belts between Bivol and however we pronounce it, Beterbiev or Beterbiev, right? And then you get into a situation where they may have a rematch clause in there, and all of a sudden you're sitting there with your thumb up your backside for 18 months waiting for an opportunity. Would you prefer, because the British press will make it about, the Battle of Britain if you fight Josh, or if you have to fight Craig Richards, and perhaps Craig Richards isn't in the equation anymore, but would you prefer to fight someone like a Joe Smith or someone like that if you're having to wait for a world title shot? I mean, how do you feel about fighting? Because the people will clamour. If they can't make a world title shot, they'll clamour for you and Josh, guaranteed. Yes. And you're not duck anybody, I know that.
Absolutely.
But how do you feel about that?
For me, it's just what makes sense. I've said it from early. Spencer's known me from the beginning. I've fought anybody that's been put in front of me.
Sure.
I've said, if a fight gets put to me, I'm like, yeah, come, let's fight. I'll fight that person. And then it's like, okay, how much are you getting paid? What ranking would I put you in, etc., etc. The aim is to be world champion and then hold the world title and then have a fantastic career.
So you're mandatory at the moment, right?
Yes.
So if you're mandatory, so you could actually just sit it out and wait for your shot.
Yes.
I mean, that's the other option.
As I've been told, it's October.
Right.
That's what's been said.
You're mandatory for the WBO, aren't you?
Sounds good.
Yeah, and it will be, again, it will be unification bout. So when I'm being told, oh yeah, you ducked Buatsi, I'm just laughing because I'm like, if Buatsi had the unification bout next, he's not looking at me. He hasn't looked at me anyway. It's just been promoters talking. So for me, it just has to make sense.
The thing is, Anthony, you know what you're getting into with this guy.
Yes,
Beterbiev.
absolutely.
I mean, he's had 18 fights. He's won the lot, and he's
all knockouts,
and they've all been knocked out.
Yeah.
But then you look at him and you think he's 37.
Yeah.
So he's pushing on a bit. Having said that, with all due respect, you're no spring chicken. You're 30 now. So this is important that you get rid of this guy and then get into the big deal stuff. Not that he's not, but it's an important time for you as well, isn't it? You're not any new kid in the block here.
Yeah. I feel like 30, I just feel like I'm in my prime.
He's in his prime.
I feel like I'm
He's
seriously in my prime.
Do you remember when you was 30, Jim?
Long time ago.
That was in the Boer War.
It's a long time ago. It's 35 years ago almost. And as you know, Spencer, my birthday's coming up pretty soon.
If he says you're not a spring chicken, what does that make him?
Well, I did feel slightly hypocritical saying that, Anthony, I must admit.
He's in his
and
prime.
If you don't mind, I'll just cover my bus pass. Sitting to your right.
When's your birthday?
16th of July.
Oh,
All gifts accepted.
I'm an August baby.
Are you, mate?
Yeah, Leo.
Anthony's in his prime, Jim. He's in his prime. There's not too much. He's had some heavy fights with Kovalov and Lyndon Arthur, which was the longer fight. But most of his decisions have been he's bossed most of the fights.
Yeah.
He's been in control of most of the fights. So he's got no real damage on the clock. And the other kid, Beterbiev, has just knocked out Joe Smith. Right. So this guy's not in the way either. When he fights him, 37 or not, Beterbiev is in good nick, and so is he. Yeah. It's a great fight.
Anthony, you went to see Beterbiev. You saw him in the flesh. What did you look at that night? What did you see, and what did you think? Yeah, I can take care of it. Or did you?
For me, it was like, you can always see something from outside the ring. You can say everything, but once you get in there and you're in front of somebody, it could be the way they shape up. It could be the motion which they throw the punches. It could be anything.
He's not just a monster though, is he? Because he's got people that wouldn't know too much about boxing. They'll watch him fighting. They'll think this geezer's just a monster. He comes in there and destroys. But actually, he's very educated in there as well.
Smart.
He's very smart. He's got a great boxing IQ. So that's what you have to deal with as well. He's very adaptable.
You're going to beat him. How do you beat him?
Again, that's something we have to see on the net. And I know this is what I'm saying about, not only are they smart inside the ring, they're smart outside the ring as well. If he knows he's fighting me, he's watching me already, or he's been watching me, or his team's been watching me, or listened to everything I'm saying. So it's one of the things I learned from my Kovalev fight, because I spoke a lot before that Kovalev fight. I was boisterous, I was posting videos. And for this fight, it's just ultimate focus. Because for me, this is a more important fight. It's in London. I'm going to see familiar faces, and it's a different time in my career as well.
I think you maybe said too much before a Kovalov fight.
I think what Anthony's saying is, mate, that you could be a spy in the camp, Jim. You could be on the other side.
You want me to go into the Beterbiev camp and have a good look at him? I'll do that.
As a spit bucket carrier.
Beterbiev, hi, Jim White. I hear you're a bit of a monster.
Mickey.
Says the man with someone else's hair in his head. No, but at the end of the day, don't worry, I'll get off that soon. At the end of the day, it is such an important fight if it happens in October, and you're ready. You know what he's got, you know what you can do, and you back yourself.
Yes, 100%. I feel like the edge I have would be speed. From what I saw being there, I feel like I'm a lot faster than him. I feel like, again, he's got a lot more experience. He is smart. He surprised me as well in how he fought Joe Smith. He looks like a wrecking ball, but it's as Spencer said, it's a lot more calculated.
Sounds a lovely fella, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Spencer says he's a monster. Anthony says he's a wrecking
but
ball.
he actually is. But I think
a
the
light
timing's
heavyweight.
key there. Like with someone like yourself who's very explosive as well.
Yes.
You go out there, and I think it's one of those fights that you're both going to meet quite head on, and it's all about getting it right. Like, one fundamental mistake at that level, Jim, and it's curtains. But
Simon, I'm
both
just
guys
thinking,
have got the power to be able to end the fight.
You like
anytime.
pitching up at certain fights. This is exactly the sort of
yeah,
fight you'd
I mean,
love
I
to
saw
watch.
him at the fight, and I made a beeline to say to him, I really like him as a fighter because
Anthony?
yeah, absolutely,
When he ignored you?
because he's
Frankie
exciting, because he's exciting, and and the fight against Lyndon Arthur. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, Jim. It's a fight that happened in a division and in light heavyweight, where we're talking to light
Carry on,
heavyweight,
we're with you.
but it was explosive, and that's what people go to see boxing for: explosive, dynamic fighters. And he's got the juice. And the Kovalov fight would have given him a lot of understanding what it's like to fight at that level, because Kovalov was a beast as well.
Listen, I think inexperience lost you that fight against Kovalev.
Definitely.
I think that you had it won in round, was it 8 or 9 or
right.
whatever?
Yeah,
He
it
was
was one
totally
punch
gone.
away.
One punch away, but inexperience let you down. And,
Yeah.
and what you take from that is that experience, and that
Definitely.
takes you onto that another level. I think you proved that you can compete at world level and you can win world titles. You're in a division that is one of the sexiest divisions out there right now.
100%.
You must laugh at people like us tell you what you've got to do.